What's going on, guys? Asian Guy here. Today I want to discuss some pretty important stuff on the global server or Glo-best server of One Piece Treasure Cruise. We have got this new gem deal. I'm not a Bandai spy, just an FYI. I'm not a Bandai spy. We have got the one per person challenger set, and I also wanted to talk about, very importantly, which free legend you should be looking to pick on the global server of One Piece Treasure Cruise. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to elaborate that some of this knowledge that I'm sending your way is looking at it from a Japan point of perspective, where I've seen where the meta is going. It is heavily in favor of Powerhouse and Striker. Right now it's cerebral on Japan, but the point where Global is at now, for the next 2 to 3 months, Global will be having Powerhouse and Striker as the main classes that excel in all sorts of content. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out is that this will most likely not be the only time in 2018 you will have maybe 1 or 2 more chances to pick a free legend. So do keep that in mind. There is no rush to do so as well. And also bear in mind that some people, if you do already have most of these legends, you might have picked your legend already. Hopefully you haven't done so, because it's very important to remember that a lot of these legends will have limit break. And getting that limit break fodder, or that extra skill up fodder, or the extra socket fodder is always a nice bonus to have. It's debatable whether it's worth 5,000 rated points or not, but that's for you to decide. For me personally, if it's a really good legend, for example Int Mihawk, I would honestly consider feeding a dupe Int Mihawk just to get that limit break a little bit further. Limit break is very useful after all. So the first thing I want to talk about today, guys, is the challenger set. If you are free to play, just skip ahead into the video where I talk about the free legends that you can pick. But the challenger set, guys, I have to say I'm very jealous of global players that they get this kind of sale, because I wish they had it on Japan. They didn't during the 3rd anniversary, and this, it's honestly amazing. I would say they haven't put a pricing for this yet, but I believe it's going to be around 20 euros or $20 or 20 pounds, whatever your currency is. I know there's a bit of difference between the currencies and how much they're actually worth, but around that 20 figure mark. You will get around 35, well not around, you will get 35 gems for sure, and you will be given a free legend pool out of the following: Holy Jones, Akainu, Blackbeard, Kizaru, Aokiji, Fujitora, Doflamingo, V1, and Marco. Now, out of all of those, I would say the worst ones you can currently pull for the global server are Kizaru, Marco, and Fujitora. And if those 3 are the worst available legends from this pool, you know you have a fantastic pool of legends, because they are not bad legends whatsoever. Fujitora right now, I think, is very lackluster. I think people are seeing this now on global as well. He's just fallen behind, out of favor. He's just too slow. He's slow but steady, but people don't want to play slow and steady. Most people don't want to play that, especially when you can go safe and also fast at the same time with much stronger legends like Nekomamushi or Lucci that's coming out now, V2 Law. You have all these powerful legends, V2 Lucci, that are relatively safe to use but also very fast and very steady. Now, the best of this batch: Holy Jones, Akainu, Blackbeard, Aokiji, if you can 6+ him. Same with Holy Jones. I know the 6+ is not available on global yet, but when he comes, guys, he is just an amazing. I just cannot express how good his 6+ is. People who still say 6+ Lucci is a better 6+ than Holy Jones 6+, I'm sorry, but you guys hurt my brain. I know 6+ Lucci master race is a thing, like people are genuinely diehard for 6+ Lucci. I understand why. Lucci is one of my favorite villains in all anime. He is a fantastic character, and he is just so badass looking in the splash art of 6+, but he's just so overrated. He is the most overrated legend, in my opinion, 6+ Lucci. And I will explain why in the free legend section, where I go in and probably roast him. I know the 6+ Lucci fanboys are already dropping that dislike button, but it is what it is. Now, Kizaru, incredibly outdated on Japan right now. Shooter slasher class, not that useful. His special, a little bit of a heal, gives all matching orbs to shooters and slashers, but in a world where block orbs are becoming more common and 17 turn cooldown is not favorable whatsoever, he is not so amazing. However, having said that, he's not bad at all. He's definitely not bad at all. As a captain, he's a bit lacking now. 3 times attack boost on a conditional. When you use his special, that is, in my opinion, not that amazing. And you've also got Marco, who as a captain, let's be real, is completely useless. But his special, massive heal or boost, still very much useful today. In fact, a lot of people are using him with Lucci to clear the most recently released Kai Colosseum, which is of course Kai Colosseum X Drake. So he's actually got his uses still, Marco. And Fujitora has been revived courtesy of V2 Doflamingo. V2 Doflamingo bringing back Driven as a top tier class. I would say V2 Dofi, his dream team is arguably alongside the Judge dream team, the best team in the game, which would mean that he is arguably the best legend in the game. But that's for another time, a tier list video. Those of you who have been following me for a long time know that I think Lucci is the best legend in the game. But if I was to decide second and third spot, it would be tough between V2 Dofi and Judge. But that tier list video, which is long overdue by at least around 4 or 5 months now, I've said I've made a tier list. I have it actually up there right now, but that's for the future. I will show it to you guys soon. If you want me to release that soon, let me know, spam it in the comment section. I will cover it as soon as possible. Akainu has fallen out of favor, and I would say the only reason he's fallen out of favor is simply because he is technically a rainbow captain, but realistically speaking, he is a mono strength class captain. You really want to be putting most of the units on his team as strength units. Still a superb captain in my opinion. Very good at clearing easy content fast, but for harder content, he's a bit squishy now, and he does fall behind. But when he does get that 6+, guys, when Akainu does get that 6+, and it will come, it's gonna happen, it's going to be disgusting. It will be disgusting, that's for sure. And on global right now, he still pretty much destroys a bunch of content. Blackbeard will always be relevant. Barrier penetrating ability with a 1.5 times HP boost is always going to be relevant, especially when you compare him up with someone like Lucci. If you land yourself a Blackbeard, GG, you've got yourself a fantastic legend. Hody Jones, who I completely skipped over, 6+. I just went off on a tangent on the other legends. 6+ Hody Jones, if you get him, fantastic legend. All the top Japan players, all the players that are like above pirate level 600 or the whales, they always rock 6+ Hody Jones. He's the best speed clearing captain, super tanky, super safe to use. A lot of people don't understand how his mechanics work. Guys, yes, he does cut his own HP, that is true. But when you get to the boss stage with 6+ Hody Jones, you are going to have all your specials ready in around 6 or 7 turns, and at that point you are going to have around 40 to 50,000 HP, which is more than almost every single other legend in the game right now. If you put a Marco on your team, you're going to be able to rock over 100,000 HP on your burst turn. And to pair it up, Hody Jones does have a 90% damage reduction, so he is one of the best legends in the game. Haters are going to hate because they are just afraid of his mechanic, they don't understand how it works. But if you are sleeping on Hody Jones 6+, I have to say, all I can give you is pity. Lucci 6+ has been put in the dirt, RIP. 3.5 times attack boost compared to 3.25 times, and incredibly 2 times HP tankiness, and the speed clearing, so much better, so much better. But I will roast Lucci later on in the video. Kizaru, as I said, he's alright. Aokiji 6+, arguably along with 6+ Hody Jones, the best 6+ that has been introduced to the game so far. Aokiji, essential for almost every striker team, for almost every rainbow team. He's amazing. Chain locker, boosts all your orb and damage boosters by an extra 1 turn. Where is that not useful? It's useful everywhere, and the 100,000 fixed damage that goes through defense. Amazing, he's just amazing, and he's a great captain as well. Rainbow 3.5 times, of course conditional, but he can still clear a lot of content with ease because he's tanky as well. So if you get Aokiji, fantastic, fantastic stuff. Doflamingo V2 also very useful. Cerebral and Driven have of course come back a lot recently, but you can't really use Doflamingo V1 on a Doflamingo V2 team. But he is very good on a Cerebral team. Cerebral are currently getting a lot of love right now, so do keep that in mind. And of course, as I said, Marco, still somewhat relevant. Probably the worst out of the batch, but if Marco is the worst, you've got yourself a good chance of landing yourself some amazing legends. So there you go. Do I think this gem set is worth it? Let's put it this way, guys. If you are like me and you're a hardcore player and you have been playing, this global account is over 800 days, £20 or $20 or 20 euros is pennies. If you look at it, that you're playing this game every day, you're not even spending 1 penny a day with that set. Actually, are you? Yes, you are. I'm an idiot, but basically, you're not even spending £1 a day. It's really not that much money. Maybe in a one-time transaction, it seems like a lot, but if you are invested into this game, you are a dedicated player, it's really not much. If you're spending for something you like, it's like food, you know, it's like food. That's why you see me eating stuff like bread every day, and only bread because I have no money, because I'm spending it on the game. Get your priorities straight, guys. I've definitely confused a lot of people there, but basically, if you have the money to spare and you love this game, it's definitely worth spending. If not, it's fine, it's absolutely a-okay. Free-to-play players, I respect you guys because you guys have some insane self-control. Either that or you don't have any money, but when you do have money, I'm sure you guys will probably still stay free to play because you have that insane discipline anyway. So, the main crux of this video, that took a lot longer than I expected, 11 minutes. I do apologize, guys. I will leave a timestamp, of course, to get to this point. We have the free legends. The free legends currently available: Whitebeard, Rayleigh, Boa Hancock, Sengoku, Shanks, Ace, Sabo, Mihawk, Rob Lucci, Log Luffy, and Bartolomeo. Now, for those people who have no idea what to pick, let me put it this way. The only reason you will pick the following legends: Boa Hancock, Sengoku, and Shanks, and Log Luffy, those 4 legends. The only reason, actually no, let me change that. Sengoku, Shanks, and Log Luffy, those 3 legends, the only reason you should be considering picking those 3 legends is if you have every single other legend in this mail. Otherwise, those 3 are by far the worst legends, the worst investments. They're just not worth picking unless you're going to sell them for Rayleigh points or whatever. Just no, they are just not worth it. Now, from this point onwards, the other legends, they all have their pluses and their downsides, and I will look to cover that. The first one being Whitebeard. Whitebeard on his own, unevolved, not super evolved. When I say unevolved, I mean not in their 6+ version, but as their 6-star version. Not bad, he's not bad. 30% HP cut is of course very useful, but his 6+ version becomes a block orb manipulator. The problem with Whitebeard now though is his captain ability is really not that useful anymore. It's a bit outdated. On Japan, you can pretty much say it's rubbish now. A lot of people didn't like it when I said last time that 3 times attack is rubbish on Japan. The reality is that it's going to become more and more worse. It is already in the dirt, guys. He's not even a flat 3 times, he's a conditional 3 times, which is why, in my opinion, he is not a good captain. But as a sub, he still excels on many different teams. The problem being with him as a sub, he is a 17-turn cooldown, and 17 turns, again, is outdated in the meta. I believe Whitebeard already did get his limit break, which means that cooldown is not going to be going down anytime soon. So 17 turns, very useful for forests, but outside of that, you will see him being rarely used on the Japan server. Rayleigh. Now Rayleigh, also very high cooldown, unevolved. Still a relatively useful special as utility wise, but when you 6+ him, he becomes an extremely useful utility unit, and I would recommend Rayleigh a lot if you have G4, if you have a slasher team, you have a Zoro legend, or you want to dedicate yourself to the Adventure Mihawk that's coming soon. I would say Rayleigh is a fantastic unit to have as a 6+ version. Very, very solid unit as a sub. As a captain, of course, chain multiplier captain, not that useful. I think the meta now requires you to have legends that can clear room 1, all units, all mobs in room 1 on the first turn. So let me put it this way. The way I see it is, if a legend struggles severely to deal with Raid Sabo's room 1, for example, Log Luffy will struggle 100%. I'm pretty sure it's impossible for Log Luffy to clear stage 1 of Raid Sabo in the first turn. If the legend cannot do that, they are garbage. That is my opinion. If they can't get rid of that first room of Raid Sabo, they have already fallen behind, because Raid Sabo is now mediocre content on Japan. That is the standard of difficulty that is coming, which is why I highly recommend pushing for part 2 for the striker and powerhouse units that you will find on part 2 of the anniversary sugo-fest, because they are just such an overpowered class right now. But yeah, Rayleigh, very useful on a slasher team. Slashers are very strong in Japan right now, so do keep that in mind. 6+ Rayleigh, if you can evolve him, super evolve him, I would definitely recommend going for Rayleigh. But do wait. Don't pick just yet. I have other recommendations as well. Boa Hancock. Boa Hancock. Boa Hancock. Boa Hancock. Not bad. She's not bad. A lot of people, you know, just take a dump on her. A lot of people have that kink of wanting to take a dump on her. Some people will see her as a waifu. As a captain unit, rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. 2.75 times. She is still, as a 6+, a conditional 2.75 times captain. It doesn't get much worse than that. It honestly doesn't get much worse than that for a legend. So Boa Hancock as a captain is not useful. But as a sub, she is still useful. She's an orb manipulator. She's an attack booster for Psy and quick units, which has their uses. Honestly, they have their uses. Most recently, Treasure Map Ace is a strength, quick and Psy booster. Now, if you have Treasure Map Ace and you only have him as a strength character, then the rest are quick and Psy units. Pretty useful unit. Honestly speaking, Boa Hancock, pretty useful in that sense. But outside of that, time to get Luffy, G4, free spirit teams, that's about her uses, that's pretty much it. She would say I would say she is in the bottom half of the legends available here. Sengoku, just straight up outdated, guys. He's straight up outdated. I mean, I see it potential for him to be decent and being able to clear content, but he is, compared to other legends, just so outdated. Really, if you have other legends, I don't see any reason for you to run him over anybody else. But 6+ Sengoku, who knows when that special might come in handy. AoE specials, pretty useful, and he does of course have the 1.5 times attack boost to all units. You never know when that's going to be useful, but hoping for the future, it's not looking pretty. Shanks, 2.75 times mono captain, one of the worst legend captains in the game. His special does of course reduce people's defense to 0, which has its uses, but there are better defense reducers, who are slashers. His other class, I believe, is cerebral. There are just better options. Dex Lucci is one that comes to mind. Of course, he doesn't reduce the defense to 0, but in most cases where you want a defense reducer, you don't need them to reduce defense to 0. It's as simple as that. Shanks, I would not recommend. Ace. Now, Ace is the golden boy of this free legend banner. 6+ Ace. He's a good unit. His special is very useful for shooters. Essential, essentially. But his captain ability, 3.25 times attack with a matching roll, 1.5 times HP. Very tanky, 2.25 times attack otherwise. It has potential in the future to be good. But right now, shooters are the worst class by an absolute country mile. They are the worst class. No contest. There is no class as bad as shooters. They don't have a dedicated chain manipulator. That isn't Boa, because you want to be running Boa V2 as a captain. You can't really be using Boa as a sub. Raid Boa when I say that. They have the lowest chain locker. They have the lowest chain boost, I believe. They have the worst orb manipulators. You might say Kizaru, but Kizaru's on the 17-turn cooldown, guys. The Japan meta, a lot of people don't understand this. The Japan meta is now looking at 13, 14-turn cooldowns. 17 turns is just long and tedious. It will stretch your farming runs by like 30 minutes to 1 hour. It builds up, guys, and it gets boring. It really does get boring, and it's just not the same anymore. Kizaru, when he does get a 6+ or a limit break, I believe his cooldown will go down, and in that case it will be better. But you don't have a dedicated block orb manipulator for shooters. You might have Fortnite Giora, but it's just not good enough. It's really just not good enough. Attack booster, Ace is the 2 times. We are now seeing 2.25 times coming in. All boosters, I believe 1.75 times is the highest for shooters. I don't know why. You know, it's just not good enough. Conditional boosters, they are lacking in that department as well. Yeah. So shooters are just not great. I don't know what to say, guys. I'm actually speechless because I love Ace. I think his splash art is amazing. I think his captain ability is pretty good, but I just don't have any faith in shooters right now. And I believe when they do show love on shooters on the Japan meta, on global, that would be in like 4 or 5 months time, guys. So there's no point picking that now. And as I said, if you do remember at the beginning of the video, you will have another chance to pick a free legend, and by then maybe Ace is a good choice. But right now, in this moment in time, I don't think Ace is a good choice to make. honestly speaking. They are trying to bait you with that 7,500 rating point score, which I think is just scum move from Bandai. Just give global permanent invasions. Just don't be dicks, you know? Just don't be dicks, Bandai. I know you're watching this because you put that stupid gem sale in there to bait me specifically. I know you're watching, Bandai. Don't be stingy. But yeah, shooters not getting any love, and when shooters do get love, guys, on Japan, I guarantee you there will be much better shooter legends. In fact, the treasure map unit will probably be a better shooter captain than Boa V2 and treasure map Ace. You know, no, treasure map Ace, sorry, legend Ace. Treasure map Mihawk is just an example of that. He outdated all the slasher captains the moment he came out. 3.5 times attack. That's why Fuji V2 had to come out, you know, just to make sure that a free-to-play unit was not the best slasher captain. So there's that. Sorry for the mini rant, but Port Gas Ace, in my opinion, is a bit of a bait right now. If you want him, go for him, no problems whatsoever, but he is not useful at this moment in time on Japan. Sabo, if you have G4, if you have any free spirit teams, time skip Luffy, no brainer, you should go for Sabo. Outside of that, he's not useful at all. He's not a good captain. You need to make him a 6+ to make him anywhere near useful, because his special, unevolved, yes, it does give the 2 times attack boost, but you need to be hitting 6 perfects, and 6 perfects, it's very hard to hit 6 perfects on a mini boss stage now without killing them, because you're most likely going to kill them in 4 or 5 perfects, and then you're just not going to get the boost at all, which in my opinion is ridiculous. I don't know how they didn't see that coming in the first place, but they did remedy that in the 6+ version, so of course pick him if you have a free spirit team. That's a no-brainer. Mihawk, he is the one I recommend the most. Dracula Mihawk, Int Mihawk, very useful, even unevolved as a non-super evolved unit. Very high cooldown, yes, but he does have his uses on slasher teams. Colosseum Zephyr, he's useful. Colosseum Shuru, he's useful. Both of those Colosseums are very good units. But his 6+ version, 3.5 times attack when you're hitting perfects, 120% damage if you pop both specials. Very, very good. That's a lot of damage, guys. That's not anything to sleep on. He has his uses, even today, very useful. Kai X Drake, people are using him right now, so do consider him. I highly, highly recommend him to anyone that doesn't have him. He is your go-to pick in this box here, in this mail here. Rob Lucci, 6+. Now the roasting begins. Here is where the diss types come. 6+ Lucci. The only good thing about 6+ Lucci is that you can use him to leech of V2 Lucci. In no universe is having a high orb rate, high matching orb rate as a special useful. It's not useful, guys, and I'm telling you this not to roast 6+ Lucci. People are going to say you're biased because you have V2 Lucci. I don't have V2 Lucci, guys. I have 3 6+ Luccis. Well, I did have 3 6+ Lucci, and I sold 2 of them to the radio shop. His limit break is outdated because of Zunisha, which is already out on global. It's just 2.5 times flat. That's great. Okay, recovery 0. You have no recovery with him as a captain. He is not tanky at all. He's extremely squishy. People are saying Rocket Man will give you 1,900 healing. Or if you have Zunisha, he's a bit more tanky. Just compare him to the other legends, guys. It's just not acceptable. That standard, a lot of people, when he first came out, because people wanted Lucci to be so good, he's such a brilliant character in the series. He's one of my favorite villains, as I said. I did not want him to suck, but when people compared him to V2 Lucci, when V2 Lucci first came out, it's like, no way, 6+ Lucci is so much better. Wrong! As Trump would say, wrong. It's just wrong. He leeches of V2 Lucci. He's just inferior to V2 Lucci. The only good thing about him is that he does have a 3.5 times boost if you pair him up with V2 Lucci. But that just makes you a leech. Do you want to be a leech? Yes or no? Leave it in the comment section down below. If you're okay with being a leech, then of course you're going to say 6+ Lucci is great. You're also most likely the type of player to say that Jinbei is a fantastic unit because you can pair him up with G4 Luffy. I'm the complete opposite. I think if a legend needs to leech off a better legend, that just says everything for me. That just says that legend itself is inferior, it's garbage, not good enough on his own, so he requires an overpowered unit to make him somewhat decent. That's my take on 6+ Lucci. And of course, Lucci on his own, if he's not 6+, is just rubbish. So not worth picking unless you have a lot of V2 Lucci friends. Or Akainu friends or Blackbeard friends. They're all better powerhouse captains in my opinion. That's my take on them. Log Luffy, I've already discussed. He's not even worth talking about. 4 times attack boost after a good, great, perfect. It's rubbish. He's got a 0 times attack boost. He can't beat Raid Sabo on that first. Well, he struggles to anyway. I don't think it's worth considering taking him. Bartolomeo has just received a 6+ on global. If I do keep tilting my head this way, I do apologize. My hair is in the way. Bartolomeo, very useful legend. When you 6+ him, outside of that, he's very, very rubbish. But when you 6+ him, he becomes a lot better. Decent attack boost, becomes tanky. 3 times his average, honestly speaking. That's what his attack boost is. When you have him 6+, it's a flat 3 times, which is pretty good, and 20% damage reduction when you don't attack with him is somewhat useful. But when you compare him to the most recently released legend, which is Legend Robin, who has 3.25 times attack boost and a flat 20% damage reduction, you'll just look at 6+ Barto and laugh, honestly speaking. But Driven and Striker Booster, very powerful classes on Japan right now. So if you're looking to invest in the future, Bartolomeo is a very solid pick as well. Out of those, I would still recommend the best pick to be in Mihawk, followed by Bartolomeo. Then it's between Rayleigh, Whitebeard, or Ace. That's my honest opinion, guys. It's just an opinion, guys. It's not fact. What I say is not fact. You might disagree with it. You might hate me for my opinion. But that's the beauty in having a discussion. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please let me know your opinions, your thoughts on the situation. And also, I wanted to address this. Bandai, if you are watching this, you gotta goddamn fix your game for your Android players. I know tons of Android players are suffering from this crash that keeps happening to them on global. It's not acceptable. If it was a gem issue, you would be fixing that immediately, within 1 hour. But a game that crashes, you know, a crash that crashes the game, a bug, it's just not acceptable, Bandai. You gotta improve your standards. This is the most hype event of the year. Get it up to point, get it up to scratch. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions. My commentary did begin to slur towards the end. I do apologize. It's almost a 30-minute video, goddamn. But thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Love you guys a lot. I cannot wait to pull. It's tomorrow, I believe, the sugo-fest begins, but I am pulling on part 2. So in 2 days' time, I will see you guys there. Be in that stream. Don't miss it. Bye-bye.